What is going on, AZ Sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon? We are ready for the NFC West roundtable, and of course, we got our regular co-hosts. We got Sheriff Joe, we got CG in the house, and of course, we're waiting for Steezy A Smith. I think he got caught up a little bit, maybe wiping the tears from the Seattle Seahawks fan base right now. I think that might be what's going on, but Steezy will be showing up probably within the next couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so. When he does, we'll bring him right in, guys. But welcome everybody in the chat. Thank you so very much for tuning in. This is going to be a fun one. We have Cardinals versus Rams. We got 49ers versus Seahawks. Hey, man, this couldn't be better, man. How you feeling over there, Joe?
I'm feeling absolutely phenomenal, especially after that big old dub in week 3. I'm feeling good, man. Ready for this one.
I agree, man. CG, man, how are you and your 49ers doing, man?
It feels bad, baby. That's all I can say. It was a heartbreaking loss, but we'll get it together.
All right, I respect that. All right, let's start off the show here. We're going to start off talking about our last games. Obviously, I'll start off first, then we'll go to Joe, and then we'll go to CG. I'll talk about the games, what we liked, what we didn't like, what's the stuff that we need to clean up, all that different stuff. And then, obviously, we'll go to the predictions, and, we're just going to have a good time, and I'm absolutely super stoked about it. So, my game, Cardinals versus the Jaguars, probably wasn't the most flashy of the weekend out of all four of ours. Honestly, it started off very frustrating to see our Cardinals not do so hot against the Jacksonville Jaguars, a rebuilding Jacksonville Jaguars team with a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback as well. So it's very frustrating to see, but we cleaned it up in the second half. So we got to give, I guess, respect to that. And we got the win. So I guess that's all that matters. We're 3-0. And I'm super excited. The fan base is absolutely excited about what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. But we got a tough matchup against the Los Angeles Rams this coming Sunday. We won't talk about that now. Let me know a little bit of highlights and what you think, Joe.
Yeah, obviously last week it was a huge game for the LA Rams. Not only bringing in the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but also kind of handling business, man. I mean, it was a 10-point game at the end. But the Rams definitely eased up on the gas there later, like in the second half of the fourth quarter. Definitely eased back, and that Tom Brady was gonna do some stuff there. But it's kind of interesting. The Rams are giving up yards right now, which is something that scares me about this game that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But it almost feels like the Rams' defense is still maintaining control of the pace of the game, even though, if you would have told me Brady was going to throw for over 400 yards and no picks, I would have been nervous about that, but it did work out. So as far as anything that the Rams need to clean up, I would say that really, we play our best defense in the red zone, but how about we play pretty good defense earlier than that too, But it's very hard to complain about the way that game went, though. It went a lot better than I expected it to. So Rams sitting at 3-0, big old game coming up this weekend. Super pumped.
I agree. CG, man, give us a little bit of how you feel about Green Bay Packers and your 49ers.
Man, it kind of started slow. First half, we were playing crap. It's unexcusable, but then in the second half, we started playing better football, but that's got to change. Secondary was a weakness. We got exposed there. Aaron Rodgers was able to throw that ball and able to take advantage of that weakness, and he was able to throw the ball quick, so we weren't able to create pressure. You usually get enough pressure on those opposing teams we played, like the Detroit Lions. We got Goff, we got Hurts, but we didn't get Rodgers. Rodgers was able to throw it quickly, and that's what frustrated us. The running game was still an issue, but I feel like after the last second of the game, you gave Rodgers 37 seconds, which you shouldn't do. And you got to cover Devontae Adams, man. That's a heartbreaking loss. I hope the next game against Seattle, we get a bounce back. That's what I look at.
That's fair. Steezy, I know you snuck right in here, man. Let us know how you feel about this weekend's game. Highlights, lowlights, all that different stuff, man. Represent your Seahawks.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say apologies for coming on a little late. To answer the question, well, I just want to preface my comments by saying that I do take solace in the fact that my Seahawks have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs, both 1-2. And I also take solace in the fact that Seattle's been in this situation before. And the last time it happened back in 2018, they ended up finishing 10-6 en route to the playoffs. Now they got bounced in the wild card against Dallas, but they showed resiliency. And starting 1-2, and then coming back. I know now times are different. I know the defense looks mighty awful. I know the offensive line is going back to struggling. I know that Seattle goes from having the best offense in the first half to having the worst in the second half. And I know that they can't seem to stop the run anymore. They can't seem to have a consistent pass rush. But I still have faith. I'm still going to give them the benefit of the doubt. In Minnesota, it was just, look, we just, we played against a team in the season. And to be quite honest, Minnesota should actually be 3-0. Week 2, Mike, they played your Cardinals really well, really tough. They should have won. If not for a botched field goal and then a Dalvin Cook fumble away in overtime against the Bengals, they'd be 3-0 right now. That team is explosive. That offense is explosive. Mike Zimmer is a defensive-oriented coach, and I know the defense has been stepping up, but, he can take care of the defense. He can help make adjustments as the season progresses, but that offense is explosive. And now to see a backup running back going crazy, but he went crazy against Seattle last year. Last year, Dalvin Cook was knocked out of the game early, if memory serves me correct, and he had over 100 yards. He didn't have a career day like he did against Seattle, but look, I think right now it's really a schematic thing. I think it's a failure to make adjustments. Like I mentioned, Seattle is the best offense in the first half. I think it's 68 points altogether, maybe 62, and then the second half 13 points, and they averaged 4 after halftime. They've scored 0 points in the third quarter. There's absolutely no excuse for that. Pete Carroll, the indictment on him has been the fact that he's been unwilling to make adjustments. And then now, our team is withering away in the second half, is just completely dropping dead and not even looking anywhere remote to what they were in the first half. But what the first half tells me is that Seattle has it in them. We know that they have the personnel. We know they have the talent. We know they have the QB. We know they have a coach who has a history of being good. And so he just got to find it within him to really put the players in the best position to succeed. He really has to fit the scheme more to the players, because I think right now guys are miscommunicating. Guys don't know what they're doing. Maybe the scheme isn't right for some of the personnel. Seattle plays a lot of cover 3 zone, a lot of cover 2 zone. And I know Jamal's not terrible in coverage. I don't believe so anyway. But I don't think we're blitzing him enough. Maybe just blitz him more. Maybe that's his game. Maybe he just, covers defender ever. And so I think right now, the next 2 weeks is going to be very, very, very telling. And I think that if Seattle is 1-4 in the next 11 to 12 days, then I think we can really start to hit panic mode. But right now, 1-2.
Oh, here we go.
It's bad right now, but I'm away until the next couple of weeks. And I think we'll have more of a clear answer.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Honestly, like we said on the last roundtable, the Vikings probably should have beat us. It was literally a botched, field goal away from us being 2-1. Man, they're a tough team. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you. Wait, let me leave and then come back, because I think it's doing the same thing over again. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, because, like we said last time, man, I think this whole situation was, man, they're a good team. The Vikings are a very, very good team, and I agree with what Steezy's saying.
They're better than I've given them credit for so far this season. I've been kind of picking against them, and they're playing some good ball right now. And what they did to Seattle, Seattle's not a bad team, and it is kind of crazy. I didn't even think about it until he just said that. They really could be in a situation where they were 1-4. Like they got San Fran, and then they have the Rams. Like I think it's next 2 weeks. That's tough games. It's tough for the Rams. Cardinals and then Seahawks, but we're in a situation where if we lose those 2, we're 3-2. That's
right.
A big difference from being 1-4.
Just like that. Like that, it can change. So, yeah, man, let's jump into it, man. I think everybody's here to talk about, Cardinals, Rams, as well as Seahawks versus the 49ers. So let's first start off with Cardinals, Rams, and then we'll go ahead and jump onto 49ers and then Seahawks, and then we'll obviously do our predictions from there, who we think we're going to win. So let's get it going, man. You want to start off, Joe?
All right. So this is a game that we've been waiting for, and we're waiting for 5 more after this as Rams fans in this division, because of every division game that we have this year with all of these teams is going to be really fun to watch and must-see TV for sure. Even with the Seahawks dropping 2, I'm not buying that they're done or anything like that. Like those are still going to be some very tough games. It's still a very talented team. But for this week, the Arizona Cardinals, Sean McVay. We obviously have to talk about the fact that Sean McVay, as a head coach, has not lost to the Arizona Cardinals. But this also isn't I don't want to say your father's Cardinal, because I mean it's only been 4 years, so it's not your older brother's Cardinal. Well, this is probably the best Cardinals team that Sean McVay will have seen as his time as the Rams head coach. But I also think that this is the best Rams team that Sean McVay has had while going against the Cardinals. I mean, the Rams are playing some really good football right now, almost to the point, like, and you guys can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I almost feel like I've been underselling the Rams a little bit. Like, I feel good about the Rams, but they might be better than I expected them to be this season.
Right.
And that's pretty exciting stuff, because not only on the offensive side of the ball are the Rams getting it done, Matthew Stafford looks incredible, especially, I guess, when you go from Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford. It's like, I mean, that's a pretty big change there. And I'm thinking that Matthew Stafford might be a little bit better than I anticipated as well. He's playing some really good football. And then that defensive side of the football, man, I mean, like, we're giving up the yards, like I said, but it seems like the Rams defense is still in control of it. And this game, that's going to be a tall task, because Kyler Murray's playing some really good football. There's a lot of people to cover. We kind of lucked out a little bit not having to go against Antonio Brown against the Buccaneers. So got that, but I mean, they still got a lot of weapons too. But the Cardinals, I mean, that's a team that we were talking about all offseason, is adding those weapons. That's going to be difficult to cover. And then you look at a guy like Darius Williams, who last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in all honesty, played a terrible game. Darius Williams looked awful. And if he's doing that this week against the weapons that the Arizona Cardinals have, that's going to be a tough battle for him to recover from. So overall, I feel good. I feel like the Rams can get this one done, man. But this is definitely a test. And the Tampa Bay, Arizona, Seattle, this little stretch is something that we've been looking at for a while here. It's tough. We're right in the middle of it and looking so far so good. Good.
And like we were saying earlier, man, this can go any which way. We can be gloating about 3-0, 3-0, and then we can be 3-2 just like that in 2 weeks. It's absolutely nuts. But man, this whole division is absolutely stacked to the core, and I'm very excited to see, man. And for a Cardinal fan, I released my preview today, and I actually had some very nice Rams fans come through. Some very nasty Rams fans, but it's okay. But
sorry about that.
no worries. It comes with the territory. But like I was saying, and you hit that right in the head, man. I think Cliff Kingsbury is, taking a leap. We all kind of talked about him earlier, before the season started, like, hey, he might be the guy that's holding the Arizona Cardinals back. There might be some things here and there, like, hey, why would you go for a 68-yard field goal with Matt Prater and then allow the special teams? Well, it wasn't so much him, but, the special teams allowed to make a touchdown for like 2 seconds left before the half. So that was pretty frustrating. But this is a different Cardinal team. It really is. We've seen what a wide receiving core looks like without DeAndre Hopkins being productive. We saw like DeAndre Hopkins have like 2 or 3 receptions with like 20-something yards, but AJ Green picked up the slack. Christian Kirk picked up the slack. And even Rondale Moore, the rookie second rounder out of Purdue is also somebody to, definitely keep your eyes on. I always wanted to say here, the wide receiving core from, the Rams, super underrated, man. Cooper Kupp, geez. Robert Woods, geez. Let me tell you, those two right there just freak me out. And then also like Deshaun Jackson too. Like, we're not really putting a lot of respect on him, and he had a 75-yard bomb with Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford. So it's super crazy, man. I've liked what I've seen from the Rams so far. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen a lot of Rams games, only the highlights and what we see like on YouTube and stuff. But this is going to be a tall task for the Arizona Cardinals. I think most of our fan base is thinking that this is going to be an L. But I think if we can hold, step by step with you guys and come up with like we lose by like 3 points or a touchdown, I still think that's a win. I still think that's a win. Now, granted, I want that streak to end. I want the 8-0 to end, because that constantly leaves a bad taste in my mouth year after year after year. And I would hope that this team would come out and play ferociousness in this coming Sunday. But personnel, like player to player, I think you guys might have us beat with obviously coaching. Your coach is a lot better than ours. And that's not even a debate. But I think our teams are very well stacked. You might have a little bit better in terms of just being more, prepared or more like, I don't know, chemistry with each other. But I do think the Arizona Cardinals are going to stack up very well. We're not going to give our predictions quite yet, but I'm excited, man. This is going to be the task for the Arizona Cardinals. Here it is, man. This is what we've been waiting for right here. And I'm excited to either, make a reaction video and cry, or make a reaction video and be very excited, man. It can go either freaking way. I'm super stoked. Let's move on to the 49ers and the Seahawks, and then we'll all do predictions. Steezy, you start.
Okay. Man, look, like I said with Minnesota, Seattle now, they have their backs against the wall. Russell Wilson, he's probably lost, 2 games in a row before, but in my estimation, I don't think he's ever lost 3 in a row. And look, Seattle's a more desperate team. I know San Fran's coming off a loss, like always. This game is going to be very evenly matched. It's going to be tight. It's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be maybe, in the high 20s. I can see it going that far, especially with how Seattle's defense is, kind of bleeding right now at the seams, especially. San Fran's defense is a little, Josh Norman, I think he's played pretty well, but the defense I still think has some holes in the secondary. So I think that for Seattle to be successful, we got to run the football, man. I mean, look, Chris Carson, 12 carries. That's it. Like I said, against Tennessee, he had 4 carries in the second half, including overtime. And we just had to run the football a lot more. Right now, the defense is allowing opposing teams 37 minutes in terms of time of possession. And that's the worst in football. Worst in the league in yards allowed, 440.3. Worst in the league in terms of giving up, the most amount of third downs or allowing teams to convert on third downs repeatedly. I think Minnesota converted like 8 out of 11 or 8 out of 12. And so to really help the defense, Seattle just has to run the ball a little bit more, kind of chew up some clock, and then use play action, Chris Carson, after the first half, he was pretty successful against the Vikings, but then it's like Seattle stopped using them even though they had the lead for as long as it lasted. So Seattle just has to go back to that, go back to their bread and butter, use play action. That's where you utilize DK and all them. I think D'Eskridge is coming back. Jamarco Jones he was okay, but Brandon Shell might come back this week, so hopefully he can help solidify, play at the right tackle position. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a real close one. Like you said, we'll go into predictions later. San Fran, I mean, like I said, this is going to be a fight. It's going to be a dogfight. It's our first division battle, but I just think Seattle's more desperate, and they're going to come out guns a-blazing. Guys are feeling like maybe their jobs are maybe on the line. And so, like I said, this team still has the talent. It all really comes down to Pete Carroll and the rest of the coaching staff really just, I guess, ignoring their pride, and really doing what's best for the team. But yeah, we'll go into predictions later. That's all you, CG.
Okay, well, I know we're coming off a loss, and I know Seattle's had our numbers for a while, but I think what makes us more advantaged over Seattle is the fact that we have more time of possession. Sure, our secondary is a little bit of a weakness, just like Seattle. I think it's going to be one of those close games. I think the way Steezy said it, it can go from the 20-point range, and it can come down to a field goal or at least 7 points, or depending on what kind of team you're getting. But I feel like we're determined to get over the hump and at least beat Seattle this week. And I know a lot of people keep saying, oh, when are you going to play Trey Lance? We're not going to play him this season, not until Jimmy gets hurt. So all that doubt, man, I'm good with it. I'm still here. I'm here so I won't get fined. So, I'm right here.
Okay. Honestly, we have a group chat, and the moment I watched that game and I saw Trey Lance come in here and he ran for a touchdown, that's got to make Jimmy G pissed off. Don't you think? I mean, as a quarterback, a franchise quarterback, don't you think that's got to be making him upset that this rookie's coming out of nowhere and taking snaps? Or do you think he's disgruntled at all, CG? What's your thought on that?
What's my thoughts on what?
What's your thoughts on Trey Lance coming in here and just basically taking?
Yeah, we're determined to. Oh, the thoughts of Trey Lance. I think you're not going to see him play as much. You're going to only see him on the run package, or maybe in goal line situations, maybe on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. You might see him a little more in those package plays. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of them like our fan base wants. They want this guy out there. That's what it is. Dante Whitner's talking about wanting this guy over there. All the fans are saying, hey, play Trey Lance already. It's already getting annoying with the fan base. They're tired of Jimmy. So it's they want this guy out of here. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't blame. Hey, Steezy, I got a question for you, man. If you lose against the 49ers, is it panic mode in Seattle?
If we lose to the 49ers and the LA Rams, it's going to be panic mode in Seattle. But the one against the 49ers, I wouldn't go there just yet. I'm 1-3. It looks really bad. I promise you, really, it does. But 1-4 looks a lot worse.
True. No, you're 100% right on that. Okay, perfect. Well, let's get to the spot here, man. Let's talk some predictions. This is what we've been wanting for. And then obviously with your prediction, we want to hear your explanation and all that different stuff. Let's go to Seattle. Let's pick on Steezy just because it was a little late. Let's jump with Seattle. Let's go what the freak? Seahawks versus the 49ers. Who do we got? If you want to start off with Steezy, and then we'll go to CG, and then Joe, and then myself.
All right, look, so I can't say this with absolute supreme confidence just because whatever Seattle's displayed, those futile efforts in the second half of the last two games, if that version of Seattle shows up, I just can't even say I'm surprised anymore. So I just wanted to preface my comment by saying that. And I wouldn't bet on this game, to any betting people out there. I wouldn't bet on it, but I'm going to rock with Seattle. Like I said, this team is desperate. Russell Wilson's never lost 3 games in a row. He has lost 2, but he hasn't lost 3. And Pete Carroll was talking about making changes in his post-game conference, and that he's going to look at everything. And I really believe he means that when he says that. You got guys, they're not calling other players out by name, but you got certain guys calling out the coaching staff. You got guys talking about how there's a lot of miscommunication on the field. Who does that fall on? That falls on the coaching staff. And so I just know that with the pedigree that Pete Carroll has, he might not be, I guess, the elite head coach that he once was. But I still feel like he could find it within himself to really, maybe swallow his pride and start making, start catering more of a scheme and a style and the plays, towards the personnel. And I think that, he does that. And I think that he's able to make the adjustments. Like I said, flashes are there. If there wasn't, I know there's 2 halves in football, but if the second half wasn't a thing, Seattle would be the best offense in football, 68 points. I mean, there's flashes. There's talent, there's pedigree, there's culture, and they've done it before. There's history. There's a lot of things in their favor. And so that's the reason why I'm not in panic mode. That's the reason why I believe Seattle gets his victory in San Francisco. Look, their backs are against the wall. Like Patrick Mahomes recently said about the Chiefs' 1-2 record, a little adversity never hurt anybody. And this is where we find out whether or not this team is actually going to be good. That's why I'm saying these next 2 games are going to be very telling. With their backs against the wall, with them being desperate, how do they respond? And I believe that Seattle has the talent, they have the leadership, they have the players, they have the coaching necessary to be able to go into San Francisco, very high stakes. These next 2 games are pretty much going to define the season. As much as I hate to say that, it's only September, going on going on October. The season just started. So look, Seattle knows what's at stake. They know what's about to go down. They're more desperate. And I still see flashes of greatness. We're going to go Seattle 29, San Francisco 24.
All right, CG's all you.
Okay, I'm going to flip it the other way, Steezy. I just don't see your team actually bouncing back against us. And I think if you look at the record, Jimmy G has never lost consecutive games. He's actually bounced back on 1 loss. So to make it more short and simple, we're both banged up on defense. Offensively, we're the opposite when it comes to the halftime offense. Second half, we're going to dominate. First half, you guys are going to look good, Pari, and it's probably going to start ugly. But what's going to really separate us is time of possession. It's going to determine who's going to want the game more. And I got the 49ers winning this game 28-24. I just see it more as a statement.
Wait, real fast. So you talked about Jimmy G never having lost, back-to-back games in a row. So if Russell Wilson never lost 3 games in a row, that means something has to give. In that case, who would you rather have, Russell Wilson or Jimmy G?
Well, one of them's got to give, but Jimmy's never lost back-to-back, bro. I'm just going by what the record says. The stats don't lie, bro.
No,
don't come at me, bro. I'm just I'm the messenger.
I'm not. No, I'm just asking, buddy. No, real fast, because you didn't answer my question. I'm sorry, but Russell Wilson or Jimmy G? I think we know the answer to that.
I'm going with Jimmy, bro. Not back-to-back losses. I'm just saying.
All right. Here we go, Joe. You're up.
Okay.
All right. This is okay. First of all, I've had trouble picking this game, so I wanted to hear both of your guys' sides. And both of you guys, honestly, solid points here. I've been leaning more towards Niners. Your point on one of those has to give, and who would you rather have? That did pull me a little bit towards Seattle, but because it's in San Francisco and that third down offense of the 49ers converting almost 50% of their third downs, I think that could kind of be the story here. And that Seattle defense just really worries me. So I think it'll be a very tight game. I just don't think it's going to be that high scoring. And I mean, we can all admit here, I think, that if the Niners are playing almost 30 other quarterbacks in the NFL, Jimmy G won that game. You know what I mean? Like, there's only a couple of guys who could get that done like Rodgers did, moving it all the way down the field and winning the game. So Jimmy G, I mean, we kind of had it in our chat, like we had mentioned, that once he had that little fumble, it was like, get this guy out of here. What a joke. And then and then he does that last drive and punches it all the way through. Like, you know, so I'm gonna say it's a tight one, but I'm gonna go a little bit lower score than you guys. I'm actually gonna go 16-14 Niners on this one. I think it's gonna be very tight, and I think it's gonna be one of those where we can look at it and say, like, oh, Seattle, if they just would have done this one play, if this would have hit, then that would have been a win for them or whatever. But that defense really is worrying me. And then I don't want to spoil my next week's prediction, Steezy, but I think it's time for you to put on your panic pants and get ready to be struggling there in the bottom of the NFC West. It's gonna be a tough climb. It's already a tough climn. 1-2 is already that's a climb
against non-division opponents.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm gonna give the slightest edge to the Niners in this one though.
That's cool.
All right, I'm up. Woo! I already feel the tension between CGs. I love it. All right, well, here we go. So the last 2 weeks, I was like, you know, you can't bet against Russell Wilson. You can't bet against Russell Wilson. But my mind has changed, and nothing to do with Russell Wilson. It has to do with your darn freaking defense, Steezy. I don't think that they are there quite yet, and it's still really early. I know this is a 17-game season. I understand that. My mind has changed, and I think CG might get this. I agree with what Rams are saying. I'm not sure if Rams are going to beat you guys next week. We still have to talk about that next week, but I think 49ers will get this. They're established. I mean, you guys are both a good established team. It's just really going to come down to the, you know, whose defense is better. And I have to lean over toward the San Francisco 49ers, although they're all hurt. They're hurt, but they play the Green Bay Packers very well. Like, literally, it came down to a freaking field goal and a miracle from Aaron Rodgers. But the 49ers were there. And every time I was looking on my fantasy football league, because I got Russell Wilson, I was like, okay, second half, he's going to do good. He didn't do a squat. And it pissed me off. And that's just what I feel like is going to happen. I don't think they're going to play good. We always play good against each other. Like, let's be honest. Even when we're on the bottom of the division, we at least get, you know, the 49ers one, and we get the Seahawks one. The Rams are a different case. We're not going to talk about you guys, but we at least get you guys one, and it's always been like that, at least during this time. So I got to give the edge to 49ers. CG, you got my vote this time around. I do think it's a low-scoring game. I would say 17-21, or I guess mid-scoring game, 17-21. Niners.
You're alone there, Steezy.
We got his first super chat of the night here. 49ers Ultimate Report says, if the 49ers play in Candlestick, the 49ers would win versus the Seahawks. 49-0. The real score will be 21-20 49ers. Sheesh. All right. Well, let's move on to the next game. That's going to be Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. I'll start off just because, you know, I want to be basic. All right, let's do this. Cardinals versus Rams. Here we go. So I did do a preview of this. I do think that the Cardinals are going to match up very well against the Rams. A little bit inside me obviously wants to pick the Arizona Cardinals because, you know, I'm a homer. But if I'm really being realistic here, I'm going to go Rams, but I'm going to keep it close. I'm going to say it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Kyler Murray is going to have a field day, and I think, you know, what's this guy Matthew Stafford is going to have a field day as well. So I think it's going to be 31-35 Rams. And it hurts me to say, trust me, if Cardinals win, then obviously I'll be on another level. But it's kind of those situations where the Cardinals need to prove it. They need to prove it to the fan base. They need to, not so much to me, but just to the entirety of the fan base, man. We're going against the Rams that has beat us 4 straight freaking years in a row. Bad taste in my mouth. I want it out. So I'm going to have to go with Rams. And it sucks to say, but yeah, Rams.
Yeah, that's honestly, I'm a little surprised that you picked the Rams in this one.
I know. I hate saying that, dude. Trust me.
I thought everybody was going to pick their own team, which is definitely the trend that I'm going to follow. I am going to pick the Rams in this one. I think that the Rams, coming off of the win that they had, I think that it could be in some people's minds that, you know, they might be a little too high on themselves, and, you know, maybe maybe after a win like that, you have that little bit of a hangover and don't perform as well the following week. But based on everything we've seen from any like press conference, anything like that, that is not the vibe of the team right now. On the coaching staff as well as the roster itself. But, you're not getting that vibe that anybody's like really just riding high on that Bucs win. Everybody's kind of like, all right, we beat the Bucs, now Cardinals are up, So I like that attitude with it. And the way that the Rams are clicking right now, I think it's only going to get better. Matthew Stafford's only played 3 games as a Ram. I think that as the season goes on, he's just going to get more comfortable. And the Rams defense has been, playing well, but in a weird way they've been playing well because they are giving up certain things. First 2 weeks they were kind of just letting people run all over them, and then this last week Tom Brady goes over 400, throws no picks. That's a scary thing to let Tom Brady do to you, but it was able to work out for the Rams. So overall, I think that the Cliff versus Sean McVay does kind of worry me because they are starting to learn each other very well now, and they are friends. So they've got that good connection there. So I do think it'll be a close game, closer than this last game was, even against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we got them at SoFi, which is going to be huge, and I see points in this game as well. So I'm gonna say 35-38. I'm gonna go big on this one. I think we see points in this one. And I said that last week, and I was giving the Bucs a lot of credit. I was picking 40s basically for both teams last week. So that was a little bit off, but no, that's not a complaint for sure. But I think that these teams are going to give each other quite the battle, and I hope it's just not in like the sandwich of these games where the Rams come off a big win against the Bucs, who just won the Super Bowl. Obviously, it's their first loss since like Thanksgiving weekend last year, and then also a short week. Got Seattle on Thursday night, having to travel up to Seattle after that. So hopefully that's not in the brain. Hopefully everybody's focused on this one. But based on what we've seen in the press conferences and everything, I like to think that's the mindset. So 38-35, LA Rams.
All right, CG, you're up.
Okay, well, I was like picking for the last few days. I actually was going to go towards Rams, but then it got me more convincing. A birdie told me that the Cardinals may come away with an upset. I don't know. It just gives me that feeling inside of me that, when I picked the Titans against the Cardinals, it was the other way around. But I'm not saying that it can happen that way. I can say it could be a close game. It's 50-50, but my gut says it's Cardinals. I don't know why. I was picking towards the Rams, but it just tells me the birdie just says, hey, Arizona's going to upset the Rams. And I'll go with this one. The game will be 30-33, Cardinals. And AZ, I'm gonna keep that same energy for you. I'll drink that Kool-Aid for this week.
All right, perfect, man. Awesome. Hey, I'm doing reverse psychology. It works for me sometimes. Go ahead, Steezy.
Man, look, I think the gap between these two teams, it's not as big as everyone might make it out to be. Honestly, I think the Cardinals can beat the Rams, but not in LA, not at SoFi Stadium. But to all my fantasy footballers out there, start all your Cardinals, start all your Rams, because just like Joe said, this is going to be a high-scoring affair. That being said, though, I don't have it as nearly as high as Joe. I'm going to go LA Rams 34, Cardinals 31. I think that we're going to see a lot of fireworks. Cooper Kupp's going to – he's going to – oh, my gosh. I knew I was doing a good thing. Or I knew I was doing myself a favor when in 15 of my leagues, I drafted him or I have him in at least half of those leagues. And Cooper Kupp, man, I went 12-3 last week and out of 15 leagues, and Cooper Kupp was on a majority of those teams. Like, he's been really doing me wonders. And I drafted him in the 4th, 5th round. And so, my goodness, he's been the best receiver in football this year. In Arizona, yes, they have Buda Baker, but and the corners are, Mike, you guys' corners are underrated. You guys are holding up. The pass rush is really helping you guys on the back end. But, man, Cooper Kupp, I think Robert Woods is due for a big game. He's yet to really break out. I understand Matthew Stafford isn't really looking in his direction, but sooner or later, I feel like, maybe the book's going to be out on Cooper Kupp. Maybe teams start to focus more on Cooper Kupp. That's going to open up opportunities for Robert Woods, and we know what he's capable of. Deshaun Jackson just exploded. He had that 75-yard touchdown. We all know what he's capable of. There's a lot of weapons there. Tyler Higbee had a touchdown. I think Darrell Henderson might be healthy, and so I just think that while I did say the edge, does go to the Rams, the gap in talent, it's not all that big, but I'm giving the edge to the Rams just because they're at home. And their team is slightly better. So I'm going to go LA in a high-scoring affair, 34, Arizona, 31.
Okay, and that's kind of how I felt it too. I mean, obviously, I want the Arizona Cardinals to win. I mean, I know I saw some people in the chat here getting super upset, but I mean, I got to be realistic. I mean, the Cardinals need to prove it. If they prove it this time around, then hey, next time I'm going to be like, oh yeah, Cardinals all the way. But it's been a trend for 4 years, and I understand that, like, the fact that they're different teams and stuff like that, but trends do follow. It is what it is. But big shout out to my guy, Edwin Gonzalez with the $5 donation. And then Not Mario, let me get you the Betty White dab.
Got him!
Appreciate that. Not Mario says 49ers are
It's all
trash.
good. Keep that same energy, bro. We're going to win against Seattle.
Dang. 49ers
are trash.
49 nerds.
Hey, at least I wasn't a Cowboys fan. That's even worse. That's what I'm saying.
All right,
They're
man.
winning though.
Hey,
Yeah,
do,
true.
do you have our previous picks and who's winning so far in that? Are we gonna?
I do have
Are we
them
gonna wait?
written up. I'm doing garbage. Like, I'm not doing very well at all. I
Nice.
was hoping the Rams are going to lose. I don't have, I only have mine. Like, I write them down, but, like, they become this, like, the next week. So they're,
Okay.
like, shredded up.
I'll start. I'll keep my own tallies here, and then we can.
Yeah, keep your own tallies, everybody.
yeah.
I'm doing garbage. That's all I
And
know.
then whoever we'll have to think of something for whoever gets last place in the picks at the end of the season or something. Which
Yeah.
I this is not intended to be a shot, but I feel like it's going to be CG. I feel like sometimes he just throws some noodles on the wall, hoping something sticks. That's not supposed to be a shot, but I mean, you're picking some weird games over here, man.
Wait, hold on. Which picks are we talking about? Sorry.
No,
It's
you're
our-
predictions of the, how we do predictions. Every,
I don't know. Maybe Steezy might be last.
Maybe.
predictions, like how we do predictions every week. I
okay,
tally
gotcha.
them up, but I don't keep them as I should be.
I got you.
Appreciate
I'll do it. And then whoever gets last place, which is definitely not going to be me. Steezy likes to pick the Seahawks, so it might be him.
No, but look,
Well-
if we do go 1-4 after these next couple of weeks, maybe
That's
I'll pull
tough.
a Mike and start coming in with more reverse psychology and
That's
whatnot. But yeah, no.
These next 2 weeks, I mean, we're just going to be 5-0, so I don't know.
Look, I'm just hoping the Cardinals beat up on you guys enough so that you guys are fatigued and you guys come into Seattle just gassed and I mean, shoot, you guys are traveling on short notice. It is on the road. You guys might be due for a loss. What if your guys' game goes into OT? Like I said, fatigue will play a factor, but we'll see. That's the best case scenario in my eyes.
Either way, we got a heck of a weekend this weekend, guys. Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, Niners. That's perfect. This is what this was made for, honestly. This is perfect.
Exactly.
110%. All right, man. Well, I know CG's got to go. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much for being here. Does anybody have any questions, or if you could stick around, CG, that's cool too. Does anybody have any questions? If it's okay with you, another 3 or 4 minutes. Anybody have any questions for each other?
I had one for Steezy. I forgot it already. Had it earlier. Before we even started, I had it.
Oh, AZ, why are you not believing your team, man? I
It's
got
not
you
that-
this week.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's not that. So here. No. I hate every LA. Okay, let me just start. I hate LA. Okay, everything LA. When you're born in Arizona, everything in LA you hate. And I hate the people that come to Arizona. They're like, oh, LA this, LA that. I hate it. Go back to California. That's all I got to say. But I know you're in Colorado, so it doesn't affect you. So it's not that I don't have faith in my Arizona Cardinals. I need them to show up. And I want to do a little reverse psychology because it's helped me before. I think our Arizona Cardinals can win. I really do. But in this sense, and being, in this national spot, I don't want to look stupid next week. So if I can kind of what am I trying to say? Undersell myself, I guess is what I'm trying to do. But I think I'm trying to do more reverse psychology. But I think our Arizona Cardinals could do very well. I honestly do.
That is kind of funny. All the Arizona teams are my rival in some capacity, just because of all my teams. Like being in Colorado, it's the Rockies and Avalanche are my teams, so those are rivals out in Arizona, and then the Rams, of course.
Diamondbacks, Coyotes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it's been Yeah, it's been a thing where I just don't like the Arizona sports teams. So
That's fair. That's fair. Well, let me tell you one thing. I don't think you're going to sweep of this year. I think we will get one. Maybe not this way. I think Steezy said it perfectly. We're at SoFi, so you might have the edge there. But when you come here, it might be a little different. But I got a super chat here. He says, I really think the Cards and the Rams will split this year. CG, this question's for you. What childhood drama happened to you to become a Niners fan? Oh, my goodness. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to.
That's a weird question, but me hating the Cowboys motivate me to be a Niners fan, and plus I just couldn't stand my family repping that sorry team. So being a 49ers fan is a lot better than being a Cowboys fan. Let's see, my childhood trauma was dealing with Raider fans that act like a bunch of little arrogants. They try to mess with me in school, but I always beat them up just for trying to mess with me at the wrong time. So that was part of my childhood trauma, was deal with Raider fans, if that's what you want to go by that answer.
Right. All right, we got 49ers Ultimate Report with another super chat. Appreciate you, man. It says 49ers Empire from every USA state, Belize, UK, Netherlands, Brazil, Chile, and San Francisco 49ers. So we got somebody that really loves the San Francisco 49ers, man. So you're not alone, man. You're not alone. Anybody have any other questions?
I still can't remember. And Josh's question kind of caught me off guard there, so I wasn't ready.
Yeah, that was
ready for that.
All right. 110 people in here, y'all. Take that in. 110 people in here. And
Thank you,
absolutely, man.
Hey,
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all, for real. Thank you.
That's awesome. All right. Well, here we go. That's how we'll end our roundtable.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
We didn't figure out what our bets are.
Oh, that's true.
We got to figure out what we need to do.
Should we take some
The two losers here. If anybody has suggestions, please drop.
Yeah.
I don't
Suggestions
have
in the comments below. But yeah, if anybody has any plans, sorry, Steezy, you keep interrupting. Go ahead.
No, you're good. But I was just gonna say, I think we talked about this. I don't think we finalized it, but somebody did bring up the idea of us repping whoever we lost to, their team's merch, their team's.
What if we get like a little printed out logo and just put it on your shirt, so you don't have to spend $100 on a dang Brown shirt?
I'll feel real weird about going out buying Seahawks, Cardinals, and Niners shirts. All right.
That's my problem too. I ain't spending $40 on a damn Rams shirt, 49er shirt, or Seahawks.
That's a good point.
Hey, AZ, I got a friendly bet for you. But let's say, for example, that your Cardinals do win against the Rams. Are you going to sport that Niner hat for that day?
Hell no. Man, what the heck? That's the last thing I would be doing. 49ers are also on my hate list too.
Gotta be.
All you guys are on my hate list, by the way.
Look, the only thing I love about the 49ers is the fact that it's in San Fran. That's almost like home to me. It's a second home, third home. And I love your guys' colors. I mean, the red, the gold, and the white. Whew. And I like some of your guys' players, but other than that, San Fran has to be on my hate list as well. I'm sorry.
I don't see any suggestions coming in. I know we had last week that somebody said that loser would do like a video after.
Oh yeah.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we do something like that, and we'll like Google Drive it to the person that's hosting it, and then we can like freaking play it on the round table. Just
okay. So how about this? We'll do 60 seconds to 2 minutes where you just talk about how the other team is superior, and then that gets played on their channel. How about that?
Oh, that would suck.
I'm
down with that.
All right.
I'm for it.
I like that because somebody had that comment last week. I like that. I like doing a.
Whoever's at the bottom.
A 7-minute video, right?
No, 7 minutes. No. What did you say? 7, man. I ain't talking about no rounds for 7 minutes.
Not doing.
Matthew Stafford. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
right.
I'm thinking like shoot for 60 seconds about why the other team is superior, and then next week, Mike, I can play that on the episode of Ram Showcase.
Yeah, we'll send it to the person who's hosting it, and then we'll laugh at them.
Yeah,
we'll play it on the round table.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Good.
All right, cool.
Some good stuff, guys. Good luck to everybody.
All right, appreciate everybody for coming in. BBH,
We'll
thank you again for the super chat. All right, guys, that's how we're gonna end it. Thank you so very much. Go Cards.